All right, let's see how this works out. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday. So that means that we're playing Stationeers because we're engineering, because we're nerds and engineers and all that jazz, and that's fun. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all, by the way. The normal Wednesday stream may or may not happen because it falls on Christmas Eve and I am on call. So I just wanted to get that out of the way there. We may or may not be streaming. So getting straight back into it. We finished our depot for raw ores, and today we are starting the process of putting together a mining outpost, and I need to verify what I all have. So we have a tracker for finding our way home, and let me see here. I believe my portable beacon is outside. We might need that. We want a crate. Set that there. We need a deep ore scanner. Deep miner for deep ore. That tells us what kind of ores we have deep down. I wanted one of those. And do I have what I need for an advanced tablet? I might. Let's see. We've got some gold. Already there. We need steel, electrum, solder. 750. You can get put away. Electrum. Right there. And we need solder. Do we have solder? We have plenty of solder. Okay. Print one of them. And we're going to retire this tablet. We're actually going to keep this tablet for our... No, actually, once we've got the first... You know what? Let us just look at this. You can come out. We're going to put you... We are going to put you away for now. We'll find a use for you later. You... We're going to get the tracker put in there. We're going to get the deep miner cartridge put in there. And you. We're going to leave. We'll come back for that tablet. We're going to figure it out. We'll wait till later to figure that out. For now, let's see what we have. Ore composition is silicon where we're at. So that's not necessarily what we want for our first mine, but we're going to go ahead and get a rover started. Copper, steel, Constantan. I have Constantan somewhere. It's all in there. You can go in there. Steel and copper. Oh, 80 grams of steel. Okay. And 15 grams of copper. Get you started. 22 grams, nothing in you. Nothing in you. Power you off for now. We're gonna need that print. We are going to need... Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm being a little bit scatterbrained. While that is printing, we will expand. Our crops. Oh, let's see. We're going to need copper soon. You are... So for our first mining outpost, ideally we're going to find a mix of iron and copper, but that's very unlikely. Pop you there. And what do we need for you? 5 plastic sheets. So the rover is really just to make it easier for us to travel around, and it's fun. We'll probably end up having a garage with a chute system. We might end up... Wrench. We need a wrench. 5 steel sheets. All that steel, and I still need more. So basically, we want to set it up so that we can drive in, close the door, airlock, take off our helmet and suit, and do all that jazz, and then enter the base. Steel sheets. Now, what's that going to look like once we've got it completed? I don't quite know. There's a lot of little things that I want to try and do. Having to do with automation and the like. There we have a rover, and it's got room for 3 batteries. Okay. So, we need... How many frames? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 frames, I'm going to say. Steel frames. Of those, and then we're going to need 10 steel sheets, a beacon, we're going to need a deep miner, battery, while I'm standing here, we're going to swap this out real quick. How's R? You're fine. How are you? You're fine. Alright, there's 10 steel sheets. Now again, we're probably just gonna make an outpost. I've thought about making it so that it had its own atmosphere and stuff like that, but in reality, it's a lot of work for somewhere I'm barely going to be. Like, ever going to be. Not somewhere I'm going to be very frequently, so... Deep miner, steel, electrum, invar, constantan. I think I'm out of constantan. Okay. Solar panel. We already have solar panels over here. I'm not seeing solar. There's a grow light. Yeah, looks like I don't have any solar panels sitting over here for now. So we need to go through and get the resources we need for... One, we need more constantan. Right? Yeah, we used up what we had. Oh, wait, we got 30 grams there. 5 grams. Electrum, invar, constantan, steel. Let's get this go ahead. We can wait on that. We're gonna need more constantan soon, though. Constantan. Invar. I just put the Invar away. We are dangerously low on copper. Combine the steel. We don't have enough copper for... Don't think we have enough copper for a solar panel, so... We're gonna let that print and go find ourselves some copper. And I believe... That's a graph display. Where did I... There you are. No. Where did the... I'm confused. Where did my mining... Where did it go? Where did my colored... Is it in my backpack? Oh, it is. Ore scanner. I can go in my pocket. Alright. Let's go find ourselves some copper. Maybe some nickel. We're gonna head out in this direction over here. gold or lead. There's iron. Bunch of iron at the base of this crater. Silver. Volatiles. Gold, most likely. Iron. Golly, even with an ore scanner, freaking copper is not very abundant. So I think first one we're going to look for is copper. Like, we're going to look for a high concentration of copper. There we go. Default, please. Thank you. All of it. Nope. There's more this way. Cut our way up and out. Alright, that should be enough copper for now. Oh. We need battery, 2 solar panels, and we're going to do a sensor kit. We've already got a sensor kit built. Battery, 2 solar panels, the chips, and I don't think we need any heavy cable because 2 solar panels is not enough to overload a small cable. Why did I come in here? I know why I came in here. I came in here to grab chutes as well. We're going to move our drop point for our chutes into here. Do I not have any more chutes? Oh, I must have used them all. Okay, no biggie. We got plenty of iron. Chutes, basic. Alright, so I want outlet there. More of those. And more iron to create more. Yeah. Because I want my furnace to just dump inside. I believe I'll need more than 10 more, but I'm holding some already. Heh, we needed exactly 10 more. Okay. Funny how that works out. Alright, so turn you state is 1. Okay, we're gonna power you on. One. Ooh. We got a couple of clumps in there that need to be redone. Okay, I wasn't paying attention. And that should be good. Yeah, that's not going to give us any more problems. Alright, so we're going to turn you back down. Let you empty out. Power down. Apparently we're thirsty. Apparently we're also grody and in a bad mood because of it. Okay. Solar panel needs copper and gold. Three. There you are. That is 22. How much is in there? Nothing. Okay. That makes 80. Alright, so gold. And then steel. Our steel right there. Two of those. We have a solar chip. And I just had an idea. Search. Cardboard box. One glass sheet. So we need a glass sheet for each solar panel. There's one. Two. Alright, cardboard box can hold 6 items. You. Okay, I was about to get irritated. Oh, there's 2. Logic I/O. We need 2 of those. One reader, one batch writer. And then battery. Right. One of those. Box. Silo. Copper and gold. Those. And then, if I remember right, Yeah, 15 sheets, 10 plastic sheets, 5 cable coils. And then Heat Miner needs 12 steel sheets, 5 cable coils, 4 electronic parts. Battery. Two steel sheets. Come on. There. We'll finish that off with 2 steel sheets. And then Heat Miner needed 12, I think. 12 steel sheets. And 4 electronics parts. Iron. Air. Sheets. And oh, ran out of gold. Looks like we need more gold too. And then silo needed 15. Plastic, 15 steel sheets, and then twin plastic sheets. And we also wanted to make a mess of copper cable. Cable coil, we're gonna do just a single stack. That print, grab a bite to eat.
Hunger caution.
Are we consuming more power than we're storing? It does look that way, doesn't it? Okay. So, it might be time for us to... We might have to refocus and build ourselves some more solar panels, and I think we wanted to move the solar panels from the roof to the front of the base. Because we don't actually need a power spine up here. This. As long as we're not manufacturing, we should be okay. And I will go ahead and shut off the thing siphoning power from us. Which is all of the freaking silos. And stackers and all that. So we're just going to come over and power that off. You're turned off. Okay. All the unnecessaries are powered off. That ought to help us conserve a little bit of power. Plastic sheets. You are... Alright, so we have what we need for the miner and the silo. We have what we need for the battery and the solar panels. Frames are out there. And I'm just going to grab from this stack of sheets over here. Going to need chutes and a stacker. I think I've got a stacker already. There's a stacker. Loader? Aha! Unloader and a loader. So I kind of want a loader. We're going to build another stacker.
Waste tank caution.
Waste tank caution. loader and stacker. So stacker before it goes into the silo, because it doesn't put out 50 bits every single time it puts out ore. And then a stacker as it comes out with a chute. So we want a powered chute. Single one. Powered chute, electrum and constantan. One of them. And then we're going to want more chutes. I think 20 should be enough. Because we're not going very far. We're going to grab... We're going to top off our food and water, and we're going to go find ourselves a thing of copper. Well, that's right. I also wanted a beacon. There's not enough steel in that. Doesn't do as much good to have all this stuff if we can't find it after we've set it all up. So... I have no idea what's happening here. That was weird. It was like I was falling. And you. Perfect. So that beacon is so we can find the damn crate again if it glitches. Because sometimes the crates will glitch off of the rovers. 1, 2, 3, 4. One goes there. Turn you on. Put you in there. You are on there. Turn you on. Oh, I never put the batteries in. Alright, so swap you for... Oh, wrong one. Stick you back in there. Swap you out. Swap the deep miner for the colored ore miner. I wish you could look at it while in... You. Silicon, okay. And turn those on. We're just gonna pick a random direction. And try not to fall into any holes. Like that one. Here's the side of the massive crater. Stop here. Yep, still silicon. See if we can't climb our way out of the crater. Silver, nickel, and lead. Now that tenth of a nickel is very tempting, but that's not what we're looking for. We're gonna keep going. Still, what am I doing? Well, gee. Okay. This is a very large patch of ore composition. Silver, nickel, and lead. I know I've gone almost a click from that first look.
Warning, leaving mission
Even
area.
playable area. So that is the very edge of the map. Or, okay, that crate's still there for some reason. I was convinced. Yeah, we're a kilometer away. That's a very large patch of silver, nickel, and lead. What am I doing? I know for a fact that there is more than just silver, nickel, and lead on the moon. I've found it before. I've built many bases on the moon. What the shit? I'm close to the base. Yeah, silicon. There's the base is like right over there. So we're gonna go south. Iron, copper, silicon. Quarter of it's iron. Like a sixth of it is copper. All right, I can work with that. All right, I believe it's not you. It's you. After we put all of you down. So where's this? Where's the Earth? Solar eclipse is going on. I can usually still see the Earth. Okay, there it is. So there is our solar panels will go there. Empty box. Sensor goes there. Solar panel. Logic reader. Batch writer. Where did I put those? There they are. Okay. Battery. Weld. All right. There you are. Deep miner. Yeah, like that. Silo. Like so. You and you.
Hydration critical.
Cable coil. course, for our hydration is gonna go critical because it took us forever to find a patch that wasn't a big fuck you. All right. Stacker. There. Loader. Oh, we need 2 stackers for the loader. Okay. We're gonna place you there. And we're gonna go back to base. Assuming we can get turned around. There's not a whole lot of friction. And base should be right about there. Or there. I think right there. We've got a lot of mining that took place here. Oh yeah, it's right there. It feels like a cop-out. We didn't actually go that far. It's okay. I'll get over it. I'm thinking of putting a garage here. How are our batteries? Batteries are fine for now. We're gonna go inside. Water and fodder. Print one. Check on our crops really quick. Moderately well. Yeah, we're gonna need a grow light or 2 in here. Soybeans need a lot of light. And I'm leaving the damn stacker behind. Now I'm leaving the rover behind. What's the point is the car if we're not going to use it? So that way. That's a hole. That's a hole. It's a hole I don't want to fall into. Okay. I don't want to admit that I'm lost. $316 that way. Hold the phone. Did I go up the wrong way? I must have. That is why I put the beacon. Ooh, that's a trench. That's a trench. What are we stuck on for? Oh. God damn it. I was going in the right direction. The tracking beacon is what we're looking for. Not the beacon. $154 that way. We use 30% of our water just trying to get back to the freaking place. $60 that way. There it is. I wish you could look at the tablet. Recipient payload. Okay, that's perfect. All right, we want powered chutes. Import bin. Here. All right. Now cabling everything up. All right, we want data up, power down. We're going to need more cable. Note to self, two stacks of cable. All right, we want in from the daylight sensor. Variable is the vertical. We want in from the logic reader out to the solar panel. Vertical. I have the heavy cable, so I'm going to go ahead and make this trip expensive. But we will know for the future. Power that on.
Waste tank caution.
Oh,
Power low.
there we go. Yep, we're going to need more cables no matter what we do. Two stacks of cables. We don't need data for this guy. We don't need data for this guy. Set you in here. Grab you. Beacon. There. Just need 1, 2, maybe 3 more cables, and that actually would work out perfectly fine. How's our battery? Perfectly fine. How are you on? How are you on? How are you on? How are you on? Okay. Back to base to get the rest of the cable we need. Yep, you're empty, you're
Hydration
empty.
critical.
Hydration's critical anyways. Base is down there. Try to avoid the trench this time. Looks like we will be successful in doing that. Uh, the panels? Are you talking about the solar panels? Oh, you might not even be here anymore. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Solar panels were turned a certain way so that they would just go up and down. I'm not doing horizontal tracking, just solar vertical tracking. So the orientation of the solar panels is just a certain direction. And well, I mean, you got a point actually. The if I'm just doing the vertical solar tracking, the direction that the power port is facing doesn't really matter that much. I just do it out of habit, that's all. It's a little bit cleaner, in my opinion, to do it that way. Idea for spaceship tracking for traders. I haven't really done a lot with trading, so I haven't attempted to do automated tracking for them. And what you were looking at there was just a remote deep miner for iron, copper, and what was the other thing? A little bit of silicon is there. You don't know how chutes work. They're just pipes. You've only got certain types of powered chutes. So you got an import bin with a lever. Now you can automate that to close anytime that it's occupied with... Oh, okay. So, like, as I was going, like, you've got... The only ones that you can automate are the powered ones. And we'll use you as an example. So, you got your import bin, your export bin. You can read what's in the chute in your export bin and your import bin. With your import bin, if it matches this, you can have it read what's in the import bin, and if it matches one of the hashes that you have designated, you can automatically insert it into the chute network. Digital valve right. So you can actually read, like, how much is actually in a, say you got a silo. You can read how much is in the silo, and then it'll allow a certain amount through it. So, or it can actually read how much has actually gone through it. So if you only want 3 stacks of something to come through at any given point in time, I am getting ready to die of thirst really quick. Like, it's a good way. So, like, say you wanted to pull out, say you had your silo set up a certain way, and then power it on, push the button, it closes, opens, but at a close threshold of 3. So if you open the silo up and you wanted only 3 bits of ore coming out, because that's all you ever want to be doing at a time, it'll output those 3 bits. Now you can automate that. So attach a dial or 2, like 1 to designate what you're looking for and how many you want to put out. You know, it'll have it all go through, read how many export counts are there, and then it'll close when it's reached that threshold. Wrench. And, you know, lift. And then you got a flip-flop splitter. And it's just like the other one. Except it's, you can automate it. So, instead of it having a lever, it'll switch. Now, I believe you can change the ratio. So, for every 3 that comes through, 1 will switch. I don't believe it has that built into the valve. I believe you can set that up with automation, though. Like, you can have an export count going through the chute. I haven't done a lot with the powered chutes in regards to automation with them. They are... I usually get bored with a base before I get to that point, where I have to be doing that. And we have sorters as it is, so using those chutes doesn't really work for me very much. So, like, I use the imports on my manufacturers, my printers, because if something falls into it, which happens when I'm being messy instead of unlike today, I don't want it to automatically go in and then I have to pull the lack of interest in imagining solutions suggests a lack of imagination in finding interesting problems. Less that and more I achieve all of the things that I'm intending to do with the base that I'm on at the time and want to encounter a different problem and tackle that problem with a different base with an improved earlier design. If that makes any sense. So as I work on a base, if I think of or encounter a better way of doing something, instead of me redoing a whole bunch of stuff in the base, I just start a new base. It's a problem. This one was pretty basic, actually. I don't really have any special design premises for this base, aside from doing a little bit more improvements on the depot compared to what I've done before, as well as exploring a little bit more automation on rocketry. So right now, this depot is set up specifically for ore, but I want, so like I said, dirty ore comes in, unloads, backpack dumps that way, goes through into here, goes into the centrifuge. Centrifuge is going to be automated eventually. There's the stub for it. And then it splits off into each one of these. And then I'll have vending machines on the front of each one of these, just for me to have a little bit more control, because once you open that up, it just dumps everything out. Now, a chute might help with that a little bit, but I like vending machines. I think they're a neat idea for this particular run. I want to tie it into the automation coming out of a rocket. So rocket goes up, mines whatever ices that I want coming down with some more dirty ore, comes back down, dumps into this setup over here, maybe refined a little bit by that point, goes through centrifuge, or I haven't decided if I'm just going to set up the vending machines, make the items orderable. You could. I've actually built a automation before where it opens using a stack. It'll open up whichever one, track the export count, and then once it's reached its export count, close it again, and it all goes to wherever I have my furnace at and dumps into yeah, the vending machine just makes it easier to remove manually. So while the stacking with what I did before, the stack method where it was talking to him remotely, it worked, but it would hiccup. So every once in a while, and my waste gases are super full. Every once in a while, instead of giving me 3 bits of ore, so say I was making some steel, 3 bits of ore, it would give me 7. Now, I don't know if that was because it was hitting in just that specific tick count, or there was a flaw in my programming. I'm leaning towards the second, the flaw. But the vending machine does make it a lot easier to remove when you're doing it manually. And theoretically, you could set up what happens if a stacker pushes a stack of 50 into that item that only lets 3 pass, where do the other 47 go? They stay in the chute. And the stacker actually does not let it out. So, like, if the stacker can't export, it won't import any further. That's been my experience with it. We were here for... What was I here for? That's already set up and running. I needed 3 more cables. That's what I needed. Which is in you. I might as well just print another stack. I'm running low. Talking about so the stacker releases 50 into the chute. The others sit in the chute or in the gate. They sit in the chute before going into the gate. So here's a good way to do an example. I got 4 here. Valve. You know what? Crane had an idea. Wrench. Window. All right. So we've got 50 cable coil. And it wants to release 50 items, right? Set it to 1. See how it stopped? Right. So we've got 2. This one, the one that's kind of off kilter, is trying to enter the gate. So it's not actually in the gate, but it's also not in the window section at the same time. It's trying to transition from one to the other. And then this window chute is already full with the next item. The next item in the stacker can't come out of the stacker until the chute in front of it clears. Like so. Does that make sense? And not necessarily enters a gate that can't necessarily leave it. If the gate is already occupied, it can't occupy this. It can't enter the gate. But it can get stuck in transition between the gate and the chute. Not really, not without sorting. So you could, if you have an issue, set up an overflow. So what an overflow does is instead of, if something goes into one way and then can't go the main direction, it will allow it to go back in to a different network. This will allow the chute to continue on. And then, once it actually is clear in front of again, it will prioritize the frontward movement. So if you do have a hiccup, or if you only want 3 pieces but you get more, you could set it up so that the gate will stop at the 3 pieces, and then anything that's extra will go through the overflow, back around, and get sorted back into the silo that it's designed to be in. Right. And 3. You get to go back in here.
Power critical.
Food and water. So once the items have left the silo, there's no undoing that except for to reroute it back through the junction. Restrict something so only allowed item that can pass through.
Hunger critical.
Theoretically, like I said, I've looked at the automation. I've played with it a little bit, but it's been a while. And I don't really automate the chutes super often. Usually what I automate is you can have a chute that's closed to some items and open to others. I believe so. So powered chute kits. So digital valve right. Stop the flow of materials. When set to close and when set to open will act like a straight chute. The valve will automatically close after a certain number of items pass through. This threshold can be set using the dial. Power, open, lock, setting, quantity. So it can only read quantity. And occupied and occupant hash. So you can read what's in the chute's input from the logic slot, so it can see if it's got an what the occupant hash is, what's there. I believe it will actually work with the sorting as well, because it's got a sorting class. And then go back up, and then we have the Flip-flop splitter. Toggle between two outputs using a specified ratio. For example, setting the dial to 2 would allow two items to pass through the primary output before flipping to the secondary output. It will let you read what's in there. Like I said, it's been a while since I've looked at them. So it'll tell you what's in the output of the chute. Because 0 is the chute, I'm sorry, the input of the chute. Because the input port is the logic slot. I don't know what mode 0 and mode 1 is. Import bin. Now I know you can read the occupant hash before and control what goes into it. Closed to some items and open to others. No, I believe, honestly, you might be able to set it up to do that. I haven't looked that deeply into it. Because we already have sorters with whitelist and blacklist options, that might be the only way to control that. So on your sorters, I'll show you this logic. On your sorters, you have a whitelist. I don't believe you can do a blacklist on them. I believe it's only whitelist. So you can only, anything that's not in the whitelist will pass straight through. But anything that is on the whitelist will actually be sorted through into wherever you're trying to get it to go. So if you're trying to gate it that way, the only real way you're going to be able to do it is either A, putting a sorter in place, or B, closing the gate based off of its input hash and having a overflow before that. Might be something to play with later. It would be a different way of doing the sorting, but it would be a much more complicated and complex way. That's redundant phrasing. A complicated way of doing it.
Hunger caution.
Two chutes together. Yeah, you have T intersections. So where did I put those? You have junctions right here. Yep. That's what I'm showing you right now. So, 2 inputs to 1 output. I'm not sure if there's a priority on the input. Oops. That's not what I was trying to do. You in logistics or something, bud? Carousel bus. Something tells me you work in building automation and factory automation. Alright, what was I doing? Okay. So we've got our cables. Let's go put those last few cables together. And I should probably replace my suit battery because it's kind of low.
Oxygen low.
In fact, I think my power is gone. Yep. How are you? You were fine. Hey, look, we can actually see what's up there. Batteries at 3. Nope, nope, nope. Alright, let's get oriented again. Where did... Beacon. There. Is that the base? So there's the... Outpost. It's always fun driving into the sun. Everything that is permitted to be requested supplied one big chain of junctions with a vending machine to emit. The chutes push to a sorter where they go into a sushi belt. Ah, I know what that is. If they pass the sorter, they go back to the queue. The filter is set to divert the currently desired item to a locked gate that detects the item, decrements the count in the order list, then releases the gate. Anything with a positive count is in the white list. That is a complicated set of instructions. If you could write that with an IC chip in the number of lines you have available, great. Otherwise, I can only see you doing that with multiple IC chips talking to each other, which I am not a programmer. I am a layman at best. I can do it in one chip. I have tried my hand at doing multiple chip setups, and makes my head hurt. I'm already I'm a technician for what I do for work for a living, so when I get home, I'm already tired. But it is a cool idea. I would be interested in seeing it work. Maybe I'll put that on the as something to attempt a little bit later. But at the same time, I still haven't tackled the game has the ability to talk. Different devices have the ability to talk. You could pull data from a stack of a remote device. I still haven't tackled that particular aspect of the IC-10 capabilities because I'm intimidated by it. I'm just being honest on that. Save power. Our power is low. I'm thinking we're going to need a couple more solar panels. Reject IC-10, embrace PLC. Oh. I applaud your enthusiasm. However, the number of chips and wires to go with PLC would take up quite a bit of space, and I prefer programming in regards to the game. Now, could I set up a PLC for HVAC? Possibly. If I was given enough time and enough caffeine, nicotine, and peace and quiet, I'd probably be able to figure out without any actual training on it. Okay, so this guy, quite a bit of amps. Please tell me that you've got no count. 30. Okay. 33 individual pieces are in there. We're going to try this out. We never powered this guy. So we needed more than three anyways. Okay. Open. Well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Because I never put a thing in it. Did I lose? Yeah, I lost some pieces. I don't care that much. All right, let's see here. Turn you back down to 1. Whoops. Why aren't you working the way I intended you to work? I'm going to power you off for a second. So this is the package. This is the payload. Close loader. Loader is closed. Back in there. Silo always the same unit no matter what? No, the stacker. No, the silo holds 600 count stack. Okay, so that's why we have a stacker going into it, because a full stack of the dirty ore is 50 pieces. So if we only had one piece and the miner only puts out like 11 or 12 pieces at a time. So if we had 600 pieces stacks of 11 pieces each in there, we would have less than if we had 600 stacks of 50 pieces each. So the stacker is there to ensure that we're only putting in full stacks of ore. Space saving measures and all that. So right now, I need to figure out. Okay. So there's that. 39 pieces. Okay. 40 pieces. Let us see what she does. Because I know dirty ore can go into the mining backpack. Why? Okay, let's see. It's my first time messing with this thing. Where is my mining backpack? Where did it go? Are you kidding me? Why was it in? Odd. Okay. Before we hook up the chute to it. So this is the recipient. That's the payload. And I put a little bit too close there. There you are. So we're going to put you in there. Turn you on. Open. Close. Okay, so they're not popping out now. So the question is it just going to keep dumping after it's... Yes, yes it will. Okay. So once whatever it's loading fills... It just starts outputting. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I also want to set it up so that if this guy doesn't have... Let's take a look here. Loader. Payload, recipient, export, power open, mode, error lock on, required power, prefab hash, reference ID. What are the different modes? Mode auto and logic. That's what the modes are. So 0 is auto, 1 is logic. So its mode is 0, so it's automatic. Yeah, and then have to read. We still have to read if the loader has. So I'm thinking a logic gate here. So a powered chute here. We put a powered chute here that is a gate here. And then item count it. So the export count. Well, here I was thinking I wasn't going to need an IC-10 over here. Okay, plan of action. We're going to put this in here. We're going to go back to base. We're going to get a powered chute, an IC-10, and housing. And we're going to see if we can't puzzle out how to control this better. Batches where you can store that can't accept non-packed packs on front. Check them. There's a number of different ways of doing it, but I like the gating method where it won't let anything into the loader without a recipient. But it's also possible that we could tell it not to put materials through without a recipient. We can actually, yeah, this is my first time messing with the loader, so, and they're fairly new, so the question is can I make it so that it won't operate? These batteries charged. Unless there's a recipient. I'm gonna crunch on this in my head for a second. I will be right back. Side, and if so, empty the not halt silo if silo loses a few extras, so first few slots of the last bag. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. let's see. Let's print 2 new stackers, put a loader, and look at what the different read-writes are capable. I'm gonna need 2 more anyways. One. Okay. So here's our loader. Mode, error, lock, power, acquired power, prefab. On. Payload, recipient, export. Max quantity, quantity, damage, occupant hash, occupied, class 0, 1, 2. There's also the export bin. Okay. There's a thought. So we can control. We can put an export bin on the end. And then. No, because that will only allow it keep it from actually outputting. Won't actually stop the loader from exporting. So we could read okay. C10 Electrum, that's in this here. One. Housing needs some copper. So, we might have to do this with logic. If no available slot is found, the left slot object will be ejected. Will take objects from its left slot and put them in the available slots of the object, insert it in the right slot. The slots will be filled in order from first to last. If no available slot is found, the left slot will be ejected. The right slot object will auto-eject once full, or if the lever is pulled. That's a typo. Okay. So that lever is currently closed. Now it's open. Closed. Open. Yes. Yes. Okay. So...
Power low.
display... No, console. Oops. Alright, so... LED display... There it is. Now, where did I put my chip? There's the chip. Import. Oops. Edit. Clear. Confirm. Export. Edit. Alright, so... Loader. D0. Alias. Display D1. Start. Yield. Load from... Load into R0 from loader. Load slot. R0. Loader. Slot index.
Hunger caution.
Recipient. Slot index 1. Logic slot type. Pause that. Quantity. Occupied quantity. I'm wondering if quantity will tell me if it's full or not. Free slots. Total slots. Ah, there we go. Total slots and free slots. First, we'll read if it's occupied. And if it's occupied, it's 1. If it's not occupied, it's 0. Load. This set. Save to. Display. Setting. R0. Confirm. Continue. Got plenty of stuff in you. Fix that later. So, backpack goes in. Export you. Power on. Yes. Okay. Power off. Find that damn loader. Loader. LED display small. Power on. 1. Okay. Occupied is 1. And then free slots, total slots. Free slots. Load slot R0 from loader. Slot index, is that 1? Yes, recipient. Slot 1. Free slots. Set display setting R0. Confirm. Export. 12 free slots. Free slots. Okay. Edit. Okay. So, load slot R0 loader slot index 1 occupied. Load slot R0 loader 1 free slots. So if the backpack is full, if it's occupied and backpack is full, so we'll have a 1 and a 0. So we'll not, oh, I don't want to be putting that in R0. Put that in R1. Not R1, so R2, R1. And so we want them both to be 1. R0, R2, and R0. Set loader open R0. Start. Confirm. Okay, so export there. All right, so slot is not occupied, so it closes. There's a flaw in my logic. Free slots is 12. Set greater than R1. Set greater than set equals 0. R1, R1. So if there are no free slots, and that's 0, if it's equal to 0, R1 will be 1. So and into R0, R0 and R1. Confirm. Export. Okay. Yes. Give me that. You know, there's probably an easier way to do this, but I don't care right now. Okay, backpack is full. Backpack is not full. Okay, that's the logic of it. That was easy. That was a lot easier than I was expecting it to be. Should probably eat and drink before we go back up there. I have to harvest.
Hydration critical.
Okay. Batteries for the rover. And then I should probably take another solar panel with me. Am I out of gold? I'm out of gold. 3 grams in there. 30 grams in there. Okay, well, that was simpler than I thought it was going to be. Come on. Oh. We need a frame and a sheet. Okay. Ran out of power. We're just going to power that down. All the things. So the next thing we got to do is actually improve base power, because I'm using a lot more power than I am producing. And that's because I probably left that transformer on. Alright, I'm not worried about that battery right now. Oh, come on. Might go through and refill a lot of the holes that I left all over the place. Ah, hell. The solar panel never finished crafting. Oh well. We'll come back to it in a second. Okay, so first, we're going to put you down. Get you out of the inventory. And then we're going to put the chip down. There they are. I see housing. Chip. Power you on. And then we want the loader. And we don't need the display. Yes. Confirm. How are you on? Okay. So we currently have a 12 count in there. Let's see what she does. Shit. That didn't work.
Filter low. Waste tank caution.
Okay. Grab you. Okay. So we're going to need a valve. What are we going to need? Digital chute valve. Right. Okay. Flow of materials, when set to close and when set to open, will act like a straight chute. The valve will automatically close after a certain number of items have passed through. This threshold can be set using the dial. Quantity on setting. Okay. So that is not as simple as I thought it was going to be. So we're going to see if we can incorporate chute into our programming logic, or a chute valve. Okay. Oh, wait, there's a solar panel. There. Go there. All right. So we're gonna put you there. Put you here. Power you on. Powered chute. Only one. Why did I do that? Can't. Cancel. We're gonna need you anyways later. Okay. So we're going to rip you. Digital valve. And I can't put it right up against it. All right, so we might have to control it from... Okay. Hmm. 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 Might be able to get away with using a hopper. Because the problem that we run into is we can't put the valve right up against it. So we can control the valve. We can set the valve so that it only lets a certain amount through and then shuts off until we export. And we can set the number of items the valve lets through based off of the max slots of it in a backpack that we insert. So the chute will automatically close, and then it will open back up if this opens up. Because even with it closed, anything that goes in on this side gets spat out the other side. So what would that look like? Edit. So load. I want to keep that piece of code because that'll actually open things up. 0. 1. Doesn't have an export count. It just has the setting, and then it closes. Quantity. Okay. Wrong one. You go there. Close you. You. Setting quantity. Okay. How are you on? Okay. Quantity is still 0. Quantity doesn't change. Close. Setting to 0. Yeah, quantity does not change. So let's see here.
Hydration critical.
Okay. We're going to try an experiment here. Backpack has 28 free slots. 28. Backpack on here. Okay. So the close. Setting is 28, quantity is 1. Two. Aha! Three. Or let's set that down a bit. And it closed. Okay, so that needs to be reset. An idea is forming. Let's see here. So we're going to load. We're going to change that to gate. Load slot from into R0 loader slot index 1. Free slots. Set gate setting R0. Okay, so first, there's that. Open. Okay, so how do we want to do this? So we want to open the gate. If the slot is occupied, and into R0, R0 and R1, branch greater than 0, R0, open gate. J start. So AL open gate set gate setting R1. So that'll set the gate setting to the free slots in R1. Does the loader have an export count? It doesn't. It does not have an export count. Right? Right. It does not have an export count. Stacker has an export count. Printers have an export count. So we can reset it on an export count. The chute doesn't have an export count, but it closes automatically. It has to be opened manually or by command. Set gate open. Right now it is closed. Now it is open. Okay. And open gate. Goes to open gate. Setting open. R0.
0 should already be... You know what? I'm not going to take that chance. I'm just going to do this. We're going to redo that. Load slot, R1, loader 1, free slots, because I'm paranoid. And then setting, move, R15 1, set gate open, R15, so that will open the gate. J start. Free slots. Set greater than 0. R1, R1. If the free slots are greater and R1, branch greater than 0, open gate. So if that slot is open and it's got free slots in it, set greater than 0, R1, R1. If R1 is greater than 0, it will set it to 1. It'll AND R0 and R1. So both of these must be true. It'll open the gate. If it is, but that might actually make the setting go wonky. Confirm. So I need a chute. I have one in my backpack. Yes. Whatever, that's fine. Okay. You pull you out. Pop you in there. Close. Thank you. Open. There. Gate open. But if I've already gone and done this process, I don't need to open it again. R1 loader, free slots. Set gate setting R1. Gate. Branch equals 0. R0. Open loader. set R15 sorry, move R15 1 set loader open R1 J start confirm. So we're gonna grab you, we're gonna export you. Plant you there. Device not found. So we're going to loader. Shoot digital valve right. Power on. Incorrect logic at line 19. Edit. Okay. Confirm. Loader. Open. Read write. I don't understand. Why is line 19? Oh. There. There we go. I had it set to the wrong thing. Okay, so your setting is 28. And you're open. Split one. It's going to take a little bit. Okay. That's different than it was before. See, it just opened. Six.
Hunger critical.
See, there's the problem. Set it to 0. Move R15 0, set gate open R15 15 confirm. Because I don't want that gate to open back up. There, sets it to open, and setting. You know, it comes to mind that I could put a stacker here, set to 1. And then just drop it 1 time. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Hydration critical.
What the hell, man? Where did the other... There you are. See? And it opens back up. Because it's set to 0. So now... How am I going to do this?
Hunger caution.
This is the problem. Set gate setting R1. So, we need to set the gate setting. We only want it to go through the cycle once. That's the thing. So, let's open a lever. Let's add a lever into that. So the lever will start the process the one time. Alias lever D2 load from into R0 lever setting branch greater than 0 AL. If R0 is greater than 0, branch to load. J R A start. So in load, we go through load 1 occupied, load slot R1 free slots, set greater than 0 R1, and there are free slots available, branch greater than 0. We don't want an AL here. But what we do want, an AL is right here. If it's greater than 0, we branch to open gate. If R0 is greater than 0, we go to open gate. At open gate, we move. We're going to load slot again. Load slot to R1 or R0 from loader 1 free slots. Set gate setting R0, move R15, 1, set gate open R15, move R0, 0, set lever setting R0 JRA, and it jumps up to open gate, jumps back up to here. Delete that. Right now, all we care about is that the gate is not constantly reopened. Confirm that. Okay. Going to import. God damn it. That's not what I wanted to do. Alright, let's try that again. Clear. Alias. We wanted to export, not import. I'm dumb. Loader D0. Alias gate D1. Alias lever D2. Start yield load from lever. Okay, sorry. Load R0 lever logic type setting. Just to verify. Setting is read. Open is read write. Okay. Setting. So if we open that lever, so when the lever is, I need to print a lever. I can never remember. Switch. Logic switch. 1. State is 0, so open. State 1. Okay, so branch greater than 0. If R0 is, we're going to branch to load J start. So it doesn't do anything unless that lever is opened. Okay. So load slot. R0 from loader slot index 1 occupied. Branch greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, no, I'm sorry, if it equals 0, if the slot's not even occupied, we don't even want to do anything. R0 start. Error. So we'll do error. But we're not going to do it that way. Error. That's fine. It's load slot. Load slot. R1. From the loader. Slot index 1. Free slots. Set. Gate. Setting. R1. Move R15 to 1, set gate open R15, move R15 0, set lever R brain open. open is read write. Open R15. J start. Error. And I'll probably put a flashing light in here to let me know that this slot is dumb. But we'll mess with that later. Error. Set. Move R15 0 set lever open R15 J start. Confirm. Export. Dumbass. Okay. So, loader, line 6, loader, valve, lever, power on. Okay. You have a bunch of crap in you. Like I want you to. $28. Grab you. So we're going to make sure you're powered on. You're powered on. You're powered on. Set to 1. We're going to put you there. Open the lever. Okay, gate is open. Dump. It's loading. Gate closed. Okay. And it dumped it automatically. Because it was full. Okay. Sweet. That's awesome. That pleases me. And then it does nothing. Let's do that test one more time. I'm going to leave one out. Close you. Throw you in there. And open the lever.
Power critical.
Haha. Yes. I am pleased. And the last piece. Ha ha! Perfect. Cool. Grab you. And you. 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 There. Hand drill. Battery is dead. stick you there for the moment. We want you. That's enough. We want a lever. Okay. I need more suit power. Okay. There we go. You're fine. You're fine. We're in a solar storm at the moment. That's going to be a bitch to navigate. Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll just be blind for a little bit. We're going to grab you and take you with us, because we also need to add in the lever. I should probably drink something before I go. Open suit helmet would be helpful. There we go. Okay. Well, that's not terribly surprising. Set you there. Oh, hey, cool. The storm ended. Going that way. Shit. We need the smart chute. I hope they fix this friction thing with the rovers when they.
Filter low.
I'm just glad that they have the freaking rovers back, but it would be nice if they fixed the friction thing. Can't forget the chute. We're gonna drop the heavy.
Hunger
No, I don't
caution.
need to drop the heavy cables. I can just go right there. You are important. Without you, everything we just did is kind of meaningless. Open. Thank you. There you are. Okay, so come over and we're going to add our chip and you. Figure out a better layout for it the next one. Don't feel like messing with that yet today. Lever. Power you on. Yes. Okay. Loader. Ah, yes. I need the gate. Okay. There we go. And the lever. Power on. All right. So, we're going to turn you on, turn you to 1, close you. You have a 12 count. For testing purposes, we're going to do this. And we're going to open you. Okay. Open. Yes. All right. We're going to close this really quick. We're going to pull these all out. We're going to turn you up. There. Slap you in there. Put you in there to get the rest of you out. You're no longer. We're going to close you now. Open you up. Open it. Just to get the count empty. Okay. No errors there. right. Close you. Open. Close. Open.
Hunger critical.
There. And then I should have you. Power you back on. There we go. Perfect. All right, now let's go ahead and get this squared away. Set you to 270. You go there, you go there, and you go there. You go there. All right. Sweet. Now let's go ahead and review. I think I'm going to up the solar panel count to 5 instead of 3, but for now, 3 should be fine. Shoots. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shoots. 1, 2, 3 stackers. Is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 total shoots. 15 total shoots. Two smart shoots. A lever. IC 10. And housing. 2 chips for the solar tracking. A sensor. A battery. 5 solar panels. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 frames and sheets for that. Okay, so we've got our packing list for another outpost. For now, we're going to go back to base because we're starving. We'll be fine until we get there. Where did I park? Where's the car? There you are. Yeah, I'm pleased with how this went. Am I going in the right direction? Yes. Am I really going in the right direction? No, I'm going in. I need to go that direction. What the shit? That was a bounce. What the fuck? There's the base. Okay. All right. That was an adventure today. That was certainly an adventure today. We might have enough soybeans to have French fries for a little bit. Look at that.
Hydration critical.
Hydration critical. Okay, let's take stock and clean up the mess. Use you. Care too much about that, except that's going to bug me. All right. Console can get put away. What am I doing? Don't go there. Go there. Bar steel. Okay. Well, we are out of resources for now. We're going to, well, for tonight, we're done. I am on call tomorrow, so there is a chance that I'm going to have to work. Between today and next Tuesday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stock up on resources, potentially build a couple more outposts. Probably just build a couple more outposts just so that they're already built and we don't have to go through that process again. I am going to add a light, a flashing light, to the alarm so that if I don't have a backpack in the loader, when I pull the lever, it will tell me I'm stupid. Because if it's just not, working, my brain might not put two and two together. So likely going to add a light. And then next time we might build ourselves a garage. I'm wondering. Well, no. Next time we might just might get started on the Larrys and get this automated a little bit. Because, it's kind of a pain in the ass to come in here and do all of the automation. What I would like, though, is it would be nice if the Larrys could process the soybeans for me. But that's neither here nor there. Anyways, Larry's would be nice, interesting. Thinking maybe we could figure out a way to automate an on-demand for this, so that we have. Well, we could potentially automate it so that. There's a thought. Expand our printer automation so that this automatically pushes through when we insert an ingot. And then theoretically, we could set up a Larry. We'd have to raise the roof, obviously, but we could set up a Larry. Pull from an import bin and insert, or pull from an import bin and put on a shelf, so that the shelves are always stocked. No, it would require me to automate the furnace differently. That would require me to do a stack automation on the furnace. I want to try and keep my different networks separate, so we would require us to do wireless transmission. It's a thought. It is a thought. Vending machines would actually make more sense. A vending machine would make more sense than shelves if we were going to automate it that way. But I want to play with the Larrys. Pulling from a bin and then putting on a shelf. I want to play with that concept. We need an entire wall of shelves, which is doable. I have thoughts. This playthrough, I do want to play with the Larrys. Not just in here, but in here as well. Okay, well, that being said, it is time to go for the evening. I will see you all again next Tuesday for some more Stationeers. There is a small chance that we'll stream tomorrow night, being Christmas Eve and all that, but I'm leaning towards we're not going to stream tomorrow night because we all have families, and our families might hurt us if we try to stream tomorrow night. So, that being said, y'all have wonderful night, and Merry Christmas. If you don't, I don't see you until next week.